Get ready to explore one of Switzerland's most scenic towns. Today, we're hiking through the breathtaking trails of Zermatt. I spent 4 days in this charming town exploring a different trail each day, and it truly felt like stepping into a postcard. My journey began by train, where I transferred from Interlaken to Spiez, then to Visp, and finally to Zermatt. Just like the rest of the Swiss Alps, even the train ride was scenic. Also, make sure to keep an eye out for a station with an amusing name. One of the reasons why Zermatt is so clean and pretty is because the town actually banned most cars for environmental reasons, although you can still find horse carriages and electric taxis. After checking into my hostel, I went for a warm-up hike to the nearby Hengebrook. Just like all the other places in Switzerland, I have absolutely zero clue how to pronounce this place properly. There's Zermatt in the distance. It looks so cozy in between the mountains. On the way down, I took some pictures of the famous Mhorn mountain, and also some aesthetic pathways that pass by the homes of some locals. I am so jealous of the people that get to live here. It truly is just like living in a fairy tale. The next morning, I had planned to reach the top of the Brighthorn mountain, as I was interested in trying to hike at higher altitudes in preparation for future hikes. Brighthorn is a mountain that stands at 4,160 meters tall, and the presence of deep crevices persuaded me to go with the group. We took the cable car from Zermatt to climb Matterhorn before roping ourselves together for safety and putting on our crampons. If you are wondering why we gave our shoes teeth, it's a countermeasure to make it safer when crossing over snow, and especially ice. You can see the town of Zermatt in the distance as you ascend, and also the many other peaks of the Alps. It was my first time being at this altitude and also seeing such a different landscape, so I took some time to take it all in. While descending back to climb Matterhorn, my happiness was slightly decreased once I saw the price of the food I ordered. Being grumpy at the price of basically everything is a pretty common theme for anyone who travels to Switzerland. It tasted good though, so my happiness returned a little again. The meal is a staple among the Swiss and can be best described as sausages with potatoes. Afterwards, I explored the Matterhorn Glacier Paradise, an exhibit that showcases some amazing ice sculptures. The Climb Matterhorn station is directly connected to this exhibit, so it is convenient to reach. I wanted to hike down on the way, so instead of taking the cable car all the way back to Zermatt, I took it one station down to Trockener, from where I hiked to Riffle Sea. I stopped here to take some pictures before I continued down to Zermatt, where I ate some depressingly small burgers and headed to bed early. I woke up next morning at 4 a.m. to get to the Sunega Blowherd Rolltorn funicular located here. It took me to Sunega station. From here I hiked to a lake named Celeste in the darkness. I waited by the lake until the sun rose, as the lake is a popular spot for photographers to capture the reflection of the Matterhorn during sunrise. The Matterhorn is the first mountain to be hit with the first rays of sunlight in the morning, turning the peak into an orange color, almost like the tip of a coloring pencil. I stayed by the lake watching in awe until sunrise was over, then continued on taking a different path on the way back. Before making my way back to Zermatt, I played around for an embarrassingly long time on a human-powered raft. It was still noon at this point, so I decided to visit the nearby town of Tash. This town was much more quiet and devoid of tourists in comparison to Zermatt. After getting off at the station, it's a steady uphill hike to the beginning of the bridge. Unfortunately, the beginning of the hike is not scenic as you are sheltered by the trees completely, but the view from the bridge makes up for it. The Charles Corin Bridge is one of the largest suspension bridges in the world, nearly 500 meters long. If you have a fear of heights, then I would skip this hike. The highlight of Zermatt actually came the following day, when I hiked to Gornergrat and back. There is actually a scenic train that runs up and down to Gornergrat. But at this point, I was tired of paying an arm and a leg to simply exist in Switzerland, so I chose to make the journey on foot. My lower body regretted this decision, but my eyes certainly didn't. I took the path via Gormetweg on the way up, and on the way down, I took the path via Moostras. If you are planning to make this trip as well, pack a lot of water and set out early. The beginning was uneventful, apart from an apple strudel in a mountain lodge, but soon after, You are rewarded with sweeping views of the Alps. Once you get close to Gornagrat, you can also see Gren's Glacier, a massive glacier that is unfortunately becoming smaller every year due to climate change. I followed a trail that took me through Riffle Sea, offering even more views of the Matterhorn. I don't think I'll ever get tired of looking at it. Eventually, the path led me down to Zermatt after following the Gornera River. The hike this day was the longest and hardest one yet, taking me 10 hours to complete. But I was welcomed back to Zermatt with a nice sunset view of the Matterhorn, and also a sheep that desperately needed a haircut. This was my final night here, and even though my legs were screaming at me to stay back in my hostel, I went to the Zermatt Matterhorn viewpoint to see the city at night. The viewpoint is a short upwards hike that is suitable for everyone, and allows you to see the entire town with the Matterhorn posing in the background. It was so calming that I spent a few hours just sitting there, watching as the lights on the buildings slowly lit up the quiet town. Now, Switzerland is amazing. The views that I saw in this country are unforgettable. However, spending your time here will burn through your money at light speed. I wish I was joking when I say that sometimes I would be shedding tears of sadness as I replayed the mental image of my bank account being emptied. If you're considering a trip to Switzerland, it's crucial to plan ahead. You don't need to map out your entire itinerary, but having a general idea of your destinations is helpful. The prices of attractions and train tickets can add up quickly if you're not careful. During my visit, I found that purchasing the Swiss Travel Pass was more economical for me. The pass allows you to travel on most trains for free and offers a 50% discount on many tourist attractions. I think if you're staying for longer than a week, it's worth looking into. I tried to cut costs whenever I could by traveling on a budget, but my average daily expenses still totaled to 200 Swiss francs a day. It's definitely worth it though. Zermatt was my favorite town in Switzerland for hiking, but the other Swiss towns I visited all have their own specialties and perks as well. I'll cover those ones in the future. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in seeing what it's like to travel to the most affordable country I've ever visited, stay tuned for my future videos, and I'll see you guys next time.